Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today I want to show you how you can manipulate your atlas so you can pretty much only drop burial chamber maps. It's not going to be only burial chamber maps, but I guess out of 10 maps, probably 9 of those will be burial chambers without sextants, without chisels, without valing, just alch and go, okay? So I started this strategy yesterday, basically. Yesterday was my first day of farming, and I gotta say, this was the outcome. This is just the pure drops that I had, and here are the 9 exalts that I found throughout the process with map drops coming from Legion, or incubators. So basically, I had 3 bigger drops. There was an Unnatural Instinct for 1.5 exalts, 7 leak steps, the boots also from incubators, I think. And I got the quiver that was the Malachai's Mechanism, something like that, that I sold for like 6.5 exalts or something. So yeah, this is more than 13, 14 exalts plus thousands of jewelers and other bubblegum currency, how I call it. That's like everything that's not an alchemy, chaos exalts or something like that. So chromatics, fusings, jewelers, alterations, whatever, okay? So it is very profitable. But I don't want to make a build guide today, so the build guide of this character and how you can play pretty much every character as a magic finder will be up tomorrow. So today I want to talk about how I managed to do it, that I can sustain burial chambers on its own, okay? So I don't chisel my maps, I don't val them, I just, throw an alch on it, like here, there you go, and this is how I run it, okay? So the only thing I try to do is avoid the reflect. But I don't have some here because all these maps, or at least the majority here, is already prepared. So I started with about 5 maps or 6 maps that I had found on my Slayer, on burial chambers. And this was basically my starting point. So what I did was, first of all, let's check the atlas here. Burial chambers, this league is a tier 5 map, okay? So what you need to do to sustain that, because I ran like 200 burial chambers yesterday, and on top of that I have like 60-70 burial chambers in my map pool that I still can run, so it's working 100%. So what do you need? So as I said, burial chambers is a tier 5 map. That means that you have to remove every other tier 5 map on the atlas, and also one step higher, since our atlas bonus is more than 100 probably. We're gonna remove all the tier 6 maps. So there's 2 vendor recipes that you need here. One of those is the Cartographer's Seal, I think. That's like 3 of the base of the map that you want to remove, and 1 Scarring. That means if I use this one with 3 white sextants and vendor that, I get the Apprentice Cartographer's Seal, and if I do it with the Journeyman's, I get the Journeyman's Cartographer's Seal. So with the white ones, with the white sections, you can remove every low tier map, and with the yellow one, you can remove high tier maps. Or at least not high tier, mid tier maps, the yellow ones. It works the same with the red sextants as well. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna buy one of those, and then just right click and remove the map. We're gonna do this as a showcase a little bit later, or at least let me show you another recipe that you will need to use. And this is 20 Cartographer's Chisels plus 5 Regrets. If you do that, if you sell that, you get the Unshaping Orb. The Unshaping Orb, this is what I'm going to show you here. The Unshaping Orb unshapes, that's what the name is, unshapes a map that you shaped. Does also count for the Elder Orb, and this is something we're gonna use here as well. So let me check here. For example, here we have a maze map. So I'm just going to unshape this one, and now it's a tier 6 again. So what happens to the Elder Orb, or at least the shaped orb? Sana has it. So take Shaper's Orb. Here are the 2 that I have stored. This is the tier 6, and then you have the Elder Orb here. So that comes into account when you say like, okay, I'm removing all tier 5, that's fine. But if you remove tier 6, one of your tier 1 maps will probably be shaped already. Just because it's the tier 1 Shaper's Orb, right? That's this one here. So if you have this one, probably, I don't know, like your Haunted Mansion. Mine was, for example, Haunted Mansion. So you need to remove this. The way you do this is with this recipe that you are just removing the shaped. Here we go, shaped orb. And then just remove this tier 6 map. Now it's tier 1, cannot drop anymore, at least like not that often. and then Sana just has the orb. One thing that you might have, which is a little bit awkward, is when you have this tier 1 orb into your inventory, you cannot get rid of it. You know, you cannot destroy it. You cannot put it on your stash or anything. It will stay here. So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna, I don't know, like take any map. Like let's just take a burial here. And if this is the map where the doctor drops, holy fuck, dude. So what you do is you just enter the map and just throw it on the ground and go back. Open the next map. Shaper Orb is gone, but don't worry because hey, Sana already has a new one here. Okay, so just leave it here. So you don't take it, because then you're going to be with this for the eternity. So this is bad. So that means we unshaped one of our tier 6 maps here, which was in my case here the Haunted Mansion map. So as I said before, the White Sextons here with the scouring, you're gonna remove all the tier 5 maps and all the tier 6 maps. So there is one problem here, and this is maps that are connected. This is the line between those maps, right? So if we're gonna check here, Burial Chambers is connected to a tier 4 map, a tier 6 map, and another tier 6 map. Okay, so I'm going to show you that over here. So another 20 chisels. God, I'm ruining my currency to show you the special secret ninja tactics. Isn't that good? So let's unshape the prominent map as well and take the Elder Orb. So I have to say, taking the Elder Orb just makes it easier. You don't need that, okay? It's not mandatory, but you will have more success out of that. So here's the deal. When maps are connected, they can drop. Whether it's unlocked or deleted from the Atlas, like Mesa map cannot drop because it's not directly connected to the Burial Chambers. But what can drop is this map, Promenade, and this map, Maze map. So in general, you can say you need like 2 or 3 map tiers higher that the map cannot drop anymore, depending on your Atlas progression, what I will talk a little bit later. So what you're gonna do is, these are 2 tier 6 maps. If you delete them, it doesn't really matter because they are connected, they can still drop. So what you're gonna do is you take one of these Shaper Orb and make the tier 6 to a tier 11. And since you only have one tier 6 Shaper's Orb, you can use the Elder Orb and make the second tier 6 to a tier 16 map. So this is now 11 tiers higher, and this is 6 tiers higher than the Burial Chamber, so they cannot drop anymore. And this is basically what you're gonna do to manipulate, right? So you're gonna delete all tier 5 maps, all tier 6 maps, and you're gonna one shape your Maze or Promenade, and the other one you're gonna Elder, so they cannot drop either. Okay, so this will manipulate the let's say the Atlas in that way that you are able to drop from tier 1 until tier 7 maps in the Atlas. So it sometimes happens that you get a mid-tier map, but this is actually because of Legion. Okay, so Legion monsters do ignore your Atlas setup, basically. So when you encounter legions, you can still drop. I got like a couple of cells map or something. This obviously happens, you know. It will also happen that you sometimes drop a tier 4 map or a tier 3 map, right? But in general set, I would assume that at least 8 or 9 maps out of 10 maps that drop are going to be Burial Chambers, and I can prove it right here. The only thing I do, alch the map and let's go, okay? So nothing too special. I'm not running those shaped, I'm not running those elders, I'm running those white with an alchemy and easy clap. Sustain will be guaranteed here. So one thing that you probably came across is, hey, you have your Atlas cleared. You just deleted tier 4 and 5 and 6, right? So what if you don't have 142? Basically, since this time it's a low tier map, like last league it was a mid tier map, I think, and like 2 leagues ago it was a high tier map, the Burial Chambers. Now it's a white tier map, so it's very common to drop. So I would just basically say the higher the better, okay? The higher this percentage here is, the more likely it turns out that if a map drops, it's going to be Burial Chambers, okay? So let's say a tier 4 map drops, but since we have more than 100% chance to drop 1 tier higher, it's going to be a Burial Chambers, you know? If a tier 6 map drops, we don't have any tier 6 maps, it's going to be converted to a tier 5 map, right? So just to make you understand it a little bit more. If you think like, hey, it's no chance that I can sustain it, then check if your Atlas completion is too low maybe. And yeah, this is basically it, right? So the only problem is the more we delete, the less sextants we can use. So you can actually set up that you use like double white and one yellow. That's what I tried, to be honest. So that's why I have a couple of these here that I just did like this, okay? So I was using the yellow on the Hall of Grandmasters and 2 whites on fields and the burial chamber itself. But to be honest, I want to strictly farm currency, right? So I don't want to invest anything else besides a map that I will generally drop and alchemies that I generally drop. So everything I find in there, whether it's a chaos orb, a regret, a doctor, an exalt, whatever I find here is going to be pure profit, because the only aim that I have is getting one single alchemy a map and one burial chamber sustain. If I get this one, the rest is pure profit. And this is how you basically, you cannot lose currency if you do magic finding. Yes, I know you're gonna invest some in your gear to actually be able to magic find. But once you get the core things going, this is something I want to talk about on tomorrow's video, there is just no way that you can lose currency. Because it's not only about the exalt drops, Newmans, divines, or general drops you get, it's also about the thousands of jewelers. This is just from one day, and I also six socket one item with this that I had, so it's probably 1,500 jewelers just from 7 hours of farming, right? And if you check those, for example, we have here 100 chaos for 600. Holy shit! So that's 1.5, 2 exalts right here, just in jeweler orbs, you know. So if you're gonna farm up and just sell your currency in bulk to make it more expensive, you're gonna have a good time, dude. You're gonna have a good time grinding up the currency, and probably one day with the with the doctor cards, you're probably gonna find, yeah, that you can afford your hat hunter. So I think that's it for now. I'm ready to farm the next probably 250, 260 maps today. No, wait a second, 200 maps, because I don't have a hat hunter, so that slows me down a little bit. But I think like 200 maps. So on tomorrow's video, when I will make a guide about the typical Wind Ripper for 3.7, I farmed another day. So this is just from yesterday here. So we can see how much I farmed on day 2 in terms of currency. So, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and see you on the next video.